You listen to the national media, and the one thing that everybody consistently says about the Eagles is, what are they going to do after losing all of those players on defense? Valid question, but that means you haven't been paying attention to Moro or Jomo. You haven't been paying attention. You must not have paid attention when big man Jordan Davis came back almost 40 pounds lighter.
They also wasn't paying attention to just the overall nature of the league itself. That 2024 season, the way that defense was constructed was so far ahead, so far above the fray, so far away from the norm that as Eagles fans can become spoiled with the way it's constructed and criticize the way this defense is constructed now and say, oh, we're not accomplishing something. We're behind the 8 ball. And it's like, okay, most teams, for example, at the cornerback position, because that's where most of the concerns are for the Eagles. Most teams don't want their fourth corner touching the football field. That's essentially Keely Ringo's role, or CB5, however you want to put him, right?
Yeah.
Quinyon and Cooper, your two best corners, right?
Yep.
Most teams don't have 2 corners of that caliber, let alone 1. Most teams don't have. When we had Quinyon, Coop, Isaiah Rodgers, and Darius Slay, that's essentially that's essentially a combination of CB1s and CB2s. That's not common to have 4 corners of that caliber on one roster. It's not
on one roster starting at the same time.
It's unsustainable because guys eventually want to get paid. Guys eventually want to start somewhere. It's not. You can't maintain that. It's not possible, right? Now, this is not me trying to say we shouldn't have signed Isaiah Rodgers. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, as the Eagles are presently constructed now, whatever we deem as a problem, any other football team would love to have whatever problems we have right now.
Those problems. So they get with our secondary specifically. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard the news about Adoree Jackson. Looks like he's going to be the starter. I don't know if it'll stay that way with Jacorian Bennett back there. I think Jacorian Bennett played better, but I trust Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio says Adoree Jackson is the starter. That's what it's going to be.
And I don't think it's going to stay that way.
Well,
I don't.
I agree.
Because I think kind of makes me think about the whole Cooper DeJean thing. Remember how last season he missed a good part of that training camp because of the injury. Then he came back with the final preseason game, and he was kind of on ice the first couple weeks, kind of just getting a feel for what Fangio wants to do. And then he became that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacorian Bennett is a guy that they're still trying to get up to speed, and then when they're ready to put him out there, Adoree Jackson's out, he's in.
Well, it depends on how Adoree Jackson plays. Because we might be saying, oh, where did that come from? This kid looks like he's the real deal.
Yeah.
And they might, and if he plays well enough, they ain't going to take him off the field.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. If he's doing the job, let him do the job. So,
and who knows?
There's no need to create a problem, because whoever you replace him with, that means now they got something to live up to, as opposed to you got somebody that was doing the job who was setting the tone. Leave that person in there until
if Adoree Jackson, my whole thing is let him prove you wrong. If Adoree Jackson ends up being stable, we don't need Adoree Jackson to play the Pro Bowl level. We don't need that. We need him to be stable and be consistent.
Right.
Be stable, be consistent. Don't be a liability out there. Simple as that. That's really how I see it when it comes to him, man. I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say 2 years ago, they were looking to attack James Bradbury.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, they were looking to attack. If Avonte Maddox was on the field, they were going his side. Who am I missing? Who was the weak link in the secondary last year?
Oh man, Kevin Byard.
Yes.
James Bradbury.
Bradbury didn't play that much.
Avonte Maddox. Oh, last year. You talking about? I'm sorry. My brain is thinking 2023 season.
Yeah. Last year.
If you want to be technical, the weakest link probably was Reed Blankenship.
Yeah, but he's support.
Exactly. I mean, do you want me to say Slay? I don't think so.
Nah.
It wasn't CJ.
Nah, maybe we didn't have any.
But remember, you said the weakest link, not a
weakest
weak link.
You know what? No, the weakest link would have had to be Slay. Because Slay could Slay, well, not from his play, but Slay was always limping off the field.
Yeah, but yes, he was in and out of the lineup. But I guess I'm talking strictly from a skill set standpoint. Like,
because saying he's the weakest link is kind of disingenuous because he wasn't. And I'm saying it specifically for if I'm the opposition and I see Slay is limping, I'm going after him. And that happened more times than not for Darius Slay. I don't think it has anything to do with him being the best cornerback at his age, at his position in the league. That's unquestioned. But if every time he somebody's on the go route, and every time he get back to the huddle, he limping, I'm switching it up and going right back at him.
Okay.
So maybe. Again, he was good. Slay was so far above board, it wasn't even funny.
He shouldn't have been playing at that level, to be honest.
Not at 34 years old.
The way he looked fantastic in the playoffs. Like that Green Bay game, he was fantastic.
He was on top of it. And like we said it last year, Tone, it was like as long as he stays on the field, he good.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. I don't think Darius Slay got enough credit for being as good as he was, as fast as he was at his age.
He doesn't, and he didn't. I think some people just have their feelings about Slay because of the whole podcast stuff.
Possibly. But the proof was in the pudding.
I really think
every week.
I really think that's what it is. I really think some people just didn't like Slay, and it was what it was. But when you really just look at it from an objective perspective, Slay was truly, truly a stabilizing force in that DB room. Slay brought credibility to that DB room every time, every week. You know, you had to.
As Blunt saying, Maddox.
Yeah, I guess we were talking about more so as they began to become the defense they became. I guess technically you would say Maddox was the weak link when the season started. Technically. Yeah. So S. Blunt isn't wrong. I accepted the question from the premise of who was the weak link when that defense is at their best.
Right.
That's how I processed that question. But technically, S. Blunt will be correct. The weak link was Maddox, and they decided to replace him with Cooper DeJean. But I felt like that was the plan anyway. It was just they were behind the 8 ball with it because of the injury.
Yo, Green Wing Man. If CB2 is the only concern, then the Eagles defense is in better shape than most. Welcome to having rich man problems. Now, would you like more caviar on your cheesesteak? I'm gonna skip that. Caviar and cheese don't really go together to me.
That is hilarious.
That was funny.
So yeah, man. Like, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels, man. Again, subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Subscribe to Tone. Subscribe to Chalk It Up Sports. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. That's my man, Markus Thomas, man. The content is still in full effect. As you guys can see, new look. We finally put a name. We finally put a name on this bullet here, the Bald Eagles Podcast. So we're going to continue to pour into this identity, pour into this thing, man. You guys have been phenomenal thus far. Let's keep the vibes going. Again, smash that like button. The content doesn't move without you guys' support. So we're going to continue to push this content forward. And we appreciate you guys just being ultra supportive of this thing, man. It means a lot to us. So, you know, I want to kind of go back to Dallas's defense a bit as it correlates with the Eagles' offense. Saquon Barkley, coming off of the season he came off of. Jalen Hurts coming off of the playoff run he came off of. Do you expect this Eagles team to really just play bully ball in week 1 against this Dallas Cowboys defense? What do you think the answer would be for Dallas to somehow stifle the Eagles?
They would have to do it on 2 fronts. 3 fronts, actually. They would have to shut down Saquon. Then they would have to shut down AJ. Then they would have to shut down Devontae.
Okay, stay there for a second. I like where you're going with this. I like how you laid out what they have to do, right? So let's start from the top, right? Lay out what they have to do one by one, and then we're going to buffer it with, and what's the likelihood of that? so Saquon,
number
right?
one, they would have to shut down Saquon. To do that means they have to overwhelm our offensive line. I don't see that happening.
What's the likelihood of that happening?
Next to nothing.
Mailata, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens. Both Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens coming off of Pro Bowl seasons.
Yeah, but Dickerson is the only thing that concerns me.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how he plays at game speed after that meniscus.
Well, he's going to have a good test. Also, Odighizuwa and Kenny Clark and Kenny Clark are definitely going to push the line. And you got Tyler Steen, right? Somebody who we've been developing. I have confidence in Tyler Steen. He's somebody that we always felt had to start, but Mekhi Becton just showed you something unique, and you had to pour into that. But to your original task or objective for the Cowboys, I don't see them overwhelming the Eagles' offensive line. I don't see them being able to do that consistently for 4 quarters.
The only person, and again, you made the point earlier, coming off of a major injury, was Overshown. Overshown was balling before he got hurt.
He's on the pup list. He's not playing. He's not playing this Thursday. He's not active.
Question answered. Because I think Overshown, his injury was not unlike Nakobe Dean's. Not the same thing, but the severity of it.
Yeah, Overshown tore his ACL, I believe, or I think it was the ACL or the Achilles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I don't see them. I don't see them stopping our offensive line. The only thing is, I'll say it now, so I don't have to say it, during the season. But I'm hoping that we are not going to try to run inside the tackles all damn game like we did last year.
Well, it's funny you say that. When you think about the issue with Landon, right? You're concerned. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to hit those edges.
Yes. And I think we did, in my opinion, as a running back, I think we did Saquon a disservice by not doing more zone reads and going outside the tackles. Now, having said that, I must realize that I am nitpicking to the nth degree. Who am I to say what we should do with the guy that just went for 2,000 in the season? Why? Do it. Whatever you did last year, do the same thing. But still, I'm looking with my running back guy. I was like, we could have made things a lot easier. And some of those 1 and 2 yard gains could have been 3 to 5 yards if you'd have just bounced one hole outside. And I'm not talking about bounce like he bounces it out. Like, no, your target is one hole outside.
Yeah, it's designed. Yeah,
and change up your blocking schemes a little bit. And you can do that. So we'll see how they deal with that. I think we have an issue that we really haven't thought about is that Johnny Wilson is out and we lose that blocking on the edge. That comes into play a lot.
Yeah. To your point about that, I'm not saying he's Johnny Wilson, but John Mechie is documented as being a pretty decent blocker.
Yeah.
At the receiver position.
I mean, at receiver, I'm not looking for you to pancake nobody.
Yeah, I'm looking for you to hold up long enough for the ball carrier to make his move.
Get your hands on him until your running back passes you.
And the Eagles have players like that. The Eagles have guys who are. See, that's the thing, right? Nobody keeps it cute in that receiver room. And what I mean by that is guys like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jihaad Dotson. We've seen them throw their bodies around to block. We've seen Devontae Smith, especially as far as slight he is, how willing of a blocker he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? See, blocking, I would say 50 to 60% of the job is being willing.
Oh, yeah.
Because if no matter how, if you're not willing, you've already lost the
body on the body.
The rules of engagement.
Yeah. You gotta put a body on the body.
You gotta put hands on somebody. You gotta get in somebody's way. You know what I mean? And again, you're a receiver. We're not looking for it to be clean. You ain't got to be perfect. We ain't looking for you to get that, that kick step. We don't need none of that.
Right.
We need you to just get in their way, put hands on them, make life a little harder for them.
K. Robinson, we do have a fullback. Unfortunately, when Ben Van Sumeren is in the game, that messes with what we can and can't do as far as disguising what's coming. Unless they manage to put Ben Van Sumeren out in the pass pattern once or twice, and he can prove he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Different things like that. Is Ben Van Sumeren going to shake a linebacker and go on an option route 5 to 10?
Nah.
I doubt it. So yes, we do have a fullback, but you got to understand when you put Ben Van Sumeren, we are giving up some element of surprise because, like I said, unless he surprises us and goes out on the wheel route and catches a 20-yard pass, which he could possibly do, but I haven't seen it.
That's how you catch a defense lacking for real. Hit him with the fullback on the wheel route. That's how you catch. That's how you catch a defense lacking. You know what I mean? That's the closest you're gonna get to a Philly special.
Well, that's why. That's why to kind of looking back from last year, the injury to Overshown is kind of critical because Overshown could run pretty well.
When we played them last year, he stood out to me. He was the one player in that defense that stood out to me, other than Micah, of course.
Yes, he did.
Overshown, he jumped off the screen to me, and then he gets hurt. Man, who knows if he'll be the same?
Every time they had an opportunity to pair somebody with Micah Parsons and take that defense to the next level, something happened, and now you done got rid of the sun. Everything revolves around Parsons.
Everything on that defense did revolve around Parsons.
Around Parsons.
I mean, the DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons duo was pretty formidable for 2 or 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, they moved him around. He was the first. He's the first one I can remember jumping up and down the offensive line. You didn't know where he was going to line up, and it really wrecked shop on what the offensive line had to do because by moving Micah Parsons around so much, the quarterback is always on the line of scrimmage because he's got to call. Is he calling Roger or Louis? Is he calling right or left?
Yeah.
So that determines which way the line is going to block. And if you walk up a safety, maybe you're in 3 deep zone, but you walk a safety up. Now you too high coverage. At least that's the way it looks. And it also looks like you might have 7, possibly 8 in the box. Now the offensive line has got to do something different. They got to try to make a count. And now you got Micah Parsons just walking up like he going for a walk in the park. You don't know where gap he's going to end up. That was the benefit of Micah Parsons.
He covered up a lot of holes for them.
A lot of holes.
He was a defensive coordinator's dream. You can put him anywhere.
Any good coach worth they salt. You watch tape on your opponent. Who's the worst offensive line in this game? Micah. You move around, but that's where you line up. You can take advantage of. And that was the smartest thing to do.